video, I'm going to discuss foods for the breastfeeding mom. So foods to follow and foods to flee. Remember, good nutrition means eating a well-balanced, varied diet that's made up or comprised of foods that are in their natural state as possible. So that means lots of raw, that means lots of real foods, and not preservative foods, artificial foods, things like that. So use that as your general guise for what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. And then as far as specifically what to eat, what's safe to eat around baby, consider this. All foods are safe until they're not. Meaning, watch your baby. Be in tune with how they're responding to what you put in your diet and what you pull out of your diet. So don't get too concerned about, well, these are the foods I can eat and these are the ones I can't eat. Just consider all foods are safe until they're not, until you discover that your baby has maybe developed an intolerance to it. So let's start first with some ideas of things to follow. And first up is protein. And lots of studies have been done, and it is recommended that nursing moms consume at least 80 grams of protein per day. And this is just to be able to help your body to have the proper fuel and nourishment to be able to not only sustain yourself, but be able to make enough milk to sustain your baby as well. And I know that the title of this video, and I'm mainly focusing on breastfeeding, but a lot of women have said that they experience a lot less morning sickness when they make sure that they are consuming lots and lots of good protein, and then also just birthing complications and things, specifically preeclampsia and things like that, are a lot lower. The chance of those complications happening are a lot lower when a higher level of protein is being consumed by the mom each day. The next thing is to make sure that you're getting a good portion of healthy fats each and every day. And this is just really, really crucial in making sure that your milk is really, really rich and filled with all of the proper nutrients to help your baby's development, their physical development, to make sure they're hitting those milestones, their muscle tone, their bone growth, their mental development, things like that. So some ideas of things to consume would be good quality meat, specifically red meat, eggs, butter, olive oil, nuts, things like that. Anything that's going to be filled with a lot of, avocados. I'm from Southern California, so avocados are a luxury here. But anyways, avocados or anything that is filled with lots and lots of good fats is going to be really crucial to make sure that that is in your diet as a breastfeeding mom. The next thing is to make sure that you're consuming lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. So lots of raw things, and there's just a variety of vitamins and minerals and fiber that are all really, really helpful to making sure that your body is healthy, so that you can be able to make healthy milk to give to your baby. So leafy greens, all the leafy greens, chard, spinach, bok choy, all of that stuff is going to be really, really helpful and is filled to the brim with lots and lots of nutrients. And then also choose to buy organic produce whenever you are able to make that happen, and to budget accordingly, and buy local. So if you are in a town where they have a local weekly farmers market, take advantage of that, and that will be a fun way to not only you're supporting small businesses in your local city or your local town, but also you're able to buy really healthful and helpful food for your body. Next is to make sure that you're consuming a lot of water. And I think enough said. I think every single time I talk about water, I basically say the same thing, because water is so great and it solves so many problems. So just making sure that there's overall body wellness and that your cells are well hydrated. It'll be easier for your body to make the proper amount of milk that your baby needs. And then also well oxygenated cells. So when you drink the water, the O2 component of the water that you're drinking will help your cells to be well oxygenated, which will help to lessen the infamous mom brain. And I think you all know what I'm talking about, of the forgetfulness and the silliness and the maybe tending to be more emotional or just whatever. I think we can all sum it up in mom brain or baby brain or whatever. So when your cells are healthy and well hydrated and well oxygenated, that's just gonna make your body overall, your mental and your physical health, to be perfect, or more perfect than if you were not drinking water. The next thing is to consume bone broth on a regular basis. And bone broth is just so great in overall gut health. It's packed with so many vital nutrients and vitamins for your body, and it just really helps to prevent the body from getting run down from the lack of sleep, or with having a new baby, just trying to learn how to manage and co-manage with maybe other kiddos you've got, or jobs, or activities, or other commitments. It just helps your body to be, bone broth is really, really helpful in aiding your body to make sure that you are in the most optimal place you can be, and that your health is in the best condition that it can be. The next thing is fermented veggies. So not only are you getting, raw vegetables, which is what I've talked about, that being important, but secondly, you're able to add in the probiotics and the prebiotics from the fermented portion of that. And they're easy to make, they're relatively cheap to purchase, and they just really, really help to balance good gut bacteria. And we all know, and I keep saying it over and over, that overall body health is so crucial and goes back, the root is the gut health. So if the gut's not healthy, then the body's not going to be healthy. And so just making sure that you're able to incorporate some type of fermented vegetable, like a kimchi or a sauerkraut or something like that, is going to be really, really beneficial as you are breastfeeding and making milk for your baby. And then I just want to mention that I actually already made an entire video dedicated to things that you can do to boost your milk supply, and that includes a long list of specific foods that are really, really good for boosting milk supply. So I will link that video in the comments below. So if you're interested in finding out more specifically foods that have been shown to be really helpful in boosting your body's ability to make more milk for your baby, then go check that out and let me know what you think of it, and if you have any specific foods that you have found to be extra helpful for you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to foods or things that you should be fleeing from that really are not very helpful to your body, and in a lot of cases are actually hurtful. So the first thing is processed foods, and they're just filled with all sorts of gnarly chemicals that our bodies were never created to have to deal with or have to encounter. And then secondly, they offer so much non-nutritious they're just filled with non-nutrition, and they're not helpful to the body and just leave to you feeling run down and unwell all the time, because your body doesn't know how to process doesn't know how to process the processed food. So I think that kind of makes sense. The next thing is vegetable oils. So canola oil, corn oil, things like that. The body doesn't know what to do with those, and so it's busy trying to figure out how to handle it and how to work it through the bodily systems, and so it's taking away from helping to keep the body feeling well. And then also it's linked to those two oils specifically, or just vegetable oils in general, are linked to cell mutations and cancers and things like that. So why would you want to be filling, first of all, your own body with that yucky stuff, and then secondly, passing it on to your baby through your milk? Something to think about. The The next thing is grains and sugars. And if you think about it, they're not exactly the most nutrient dense choices. There's things that are worse, but there's lots of food options that are a lot better. And depending on the person and just your body's ability and your health overall, and if you've got any other, chronic health issues that you're dealing with, like autoimmune diseases or things like that, grains and sugars can have, varying effects, but they really are not that helpful to your body. So a lot of women and breastfeeding moms have tried to go grain-free and really cut out any processed sugars and just leave to natural sweeteners like stevia or honey or maple syrup or some things like that. And then the grains that they can either go completely grain-free or just go gluten-free. That's really helpful. Or even if you're brave, get into sprouting or soaking, and that would help to break down the what's the word I'm looking for? The complexity of the grains into a form that your body can more easily digest and more easily handle. The next thing is peppermint, and I feel like this one's kind of well known and pretty common, but I just thought I'd mention it because peppermint has been directly linked to stopping the hormone receptors in making milk. So it will cause your milk supply to reduce drastically. So unless you're like one in the million women who are wanting to actually decrease their milk supply, stay away from peppermint, because otherwise there's way too many women out there who work so hard to get their milk supply up and to properly be able to have their body be making the right amount for their baby, and then peppermint will cause it to take a huge dip, and then there's a lot of devastation and sadness. So it's just generally a good idea to avoid peppermint in that time that you're trying to make the most milk. Now later on, maybe when you're weaning your baby or your toddler, when they're a little bit older, maybe then you can start to delve into peppermint. But again, you'll have to see how the peppermint affects you, because maybe you won't have you won't be so sensitive, and you won't have such a bad reaction to it or whatever. And so you might be able to, maybe have that peppermint mocha at Christmas time or whatever and be fine, but other women can't use it at all. So, as an essential oil, or use it in a cream or a lotion or just whatever. So just thought I'd mention peppermint is something to just more be aware of. Okay, and then I think that I have saved the best for last, and that is the topic of caffeine, specifically coffee. And it is such a controversial topic of if coffee specifically is a good idea for pregnant moms or nursing moms to consume. And you just have to remember that different moms and different babies will equal different results. So don't get in a box of, well, so-and-so had this experience, but so-and-so had this. You just need to kind of see what will work for you, and also what, one place in your life with one child, when you're nursing one child, may be different than when you're nursing a different child. But one thing, really, when you're pregnant, it's best to avoid coffee. When you're breastfeeding, it's actually more okay, because caffeine does not pass through milk the same way that it passes through to the baby through the placenta. And then also something that when I was doing some research about this subject and to kind of come up with my own synopsis of if I think coffee and caffeine is okay, La Leche League, which is a world-renowned breastfeeding organization, has said that it's even safe, there have been moms that have safely consumed up to 5 cups of coffee a day when they've been nursing and been fine. So again, this is something you'll just have to see and, see how you feel, how your baby feels, how they react, and then you can go from there. Alrighty, so that's kind of the list that I have of foods to follow and foods to flee. So just to kind of sum it up is just use your common sense, and if it's a really, really healthy food for you and your body as the mom, then it's probably going to be okay for your baby. And then the flip side is true. If it's a food, if it's a food or a drink item that really doesn't have any good nutrients or vitamins or minerals or whatever, then it's probably not a good idea for your baby either. So just use your common sense. Remember that each baby is different. Like I said, each mom, each pregnancy, each postpartum recovery time, each nursing journey is going to be so different. So don't put yourself in a box, but just keep yourself open, and just remember that the best way to see if something is safe is just to consume it, see how you feel, see how your baby feels, watch for signs of, reactions. So, from babies, so diaper rashes, change in bowels, gassiness, fussiness, more acid reflux, spit up, things like that. And then if need be, try an elimination diet and see what's needed. Work with a lactation consultant or your doctor or your midwife or something like that in those early days to see if you are suspecting that your baby may be sensitive to something that you're eating. Then use your mama instinct and try to find it, but don't already put yourself in a box and go, okay, these are only the foods that I can eat and I must always avoid these things or whatever. And then also, one last thing to note is that when you look around the world at all the different cultures and all the different populations all through history, most different cultures, if you were to look around, would have very differing opinions on what is safe for moms to eat and stuff. So that just gives testament to the fact that there's not a one size fits all, and that putting yourself in a very narrow vision of and unnecessarily restricting yourself is not a good idea, because you want to be able to fully consume all of the things that have been created for you to enjoy. And if you're able to do that because they're going to be filled with lots of good nutrients and vitamins and minerals, then do that, because if it's going to be healthy for you, it's going to be healthy for your baby. So there you have it. That's all that I have to share here today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Share with any of your family and friends who might find it useful as well. And if you have any fun, or not really fun, but just tried and true ideas of ways that you have discovered what your baby can and cannot tolerate, I would love to hear about them, and I know that there would be lots of other mamas who would love firsthand knowledge as well. So be sure to leave a comment down below, and I'd love to chat with you more about this. So thank you guys again so much for watching. It really does mean a lot that you take the time to watch the videos and to subscribe and to comment. So I will see you guys again very soon. Goodbye.